In today's Newsday, front page stories, bird strikes on rise. In New York and beyond, peril to jets remains despite efforts to fight problem. Huge story in Newsday, and what better person to address this very, very important story, which was a front page story in Newsday today, than Rich Kaplan, our aviation expert. And Rich, what better way to talk about this and address it than your expertise in aviation?
First of all, thank you very much, Howie. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys. And hello, Long Beach. This is an issue that is going to become more and more prevalent as the years go by, and also mainly because the technology in aviation is so rapidly evolving. First off, I want to discuss the numbers. In 2005, New York's John F. Kennedy Airport, which is about 10 miles from Long Beach, reported 126 bird strikes involving commercial aircraft. Now let's go to 2014. That number is 210. We are witnessing an increase, not so much because we are seeing an increase in bird population, but because pilots are becoming more aware of it. One of the things that has drastically changed was the crash of US Airways Flight 1549, which is an Airbus A320 like the one I have here. This was a very rare anomaly. I'm going to explain why. In situations that are reported, usually a bird strike will affect one engine like we have here. This is a CFM 56, standard on the Airbus A320. Now, the Airbus A320 uses two of these, one on each wing, as you can see. The birds flew right into the engine and literally shredded the components within that jet engine, rendering it useless. Not just on the right wing, but on the left wing. At the time, Captain Chelsea Sully Sullenberger was the captain. This would play a crucial role, and I'm going to explain why. Sullenberger was military trained. In the military, it is a very common situation of bird strikes. In fact, half of the bird strikes that are reported involve military aircraft because their intakes are larger. Birds like Canada geese can easily get sucked in. One of the most famous aircraft notorious for bird strikes was the Rockwell B-1 bomber. The B-1 bomber is a nuclear weapons carrying airplane. The Air Force lost about 5 of them because of Canada geese. They didn't just lose the planes, they also lost the pilots. In total, more than 25 military personnel involved with Rockwell B-1s were killed. It wasn't until these series of incidents occurred that commercial pilots started to notice the same thing. One of the things that makes Kennedy so vulnerable is the fact that it sits adjacent to the Gateway Recreational Area, which is home to migratory birds such as Canada geese, egrets, and seagulls. Now, Canada geese are pretty large birds, if you've ever seen one. Now imagine one flying at about 30 miles an hour as your airplane is doing 190 to 200 miles an hour ascending to cruise altitude. A collision with said bird can be catastrophic. In the case of Flight 1549, the reason that this was not a catastrophe was because Sullenberger learned a technique known as altitude of approach. It is basically aiming the airplane at a slight angle so when that hits the water, the wings don't snap off, causing the plane to flip. I've tried to recreate this landing on a flight simulator, and I'm going to be very honest with you. You are more likely to win the Mega Millions jackpot 2 times in a row than you are to pull off this landing. Every pilot that I have spoken to, including Coast Guard, police, seasoned pilots, all agree what he did was a true miracle. I met Chelsea Sullenberger at SUNY Farmingdale when he lectured, and his exact words, and I quote, "I had God on the right side, Jesus on the left side, and my experience in the middle. If it hadn't been for that, we would not be talking." It is important that we deal with this. Kennedy has Avion radar, which detects birds. Pilots are more aware now. They are reporting these flocks when they make their approach. Right now, as we speak, runway 31 at JFK is the favored runway. You have traffic approaching right over Long Beach. If there are birds within that approach pattern, pilots are required to report them. This is called a PIREP. There have been an increase of PIREPs at such an alarming rate for birds that Honeywell is building specific radar to deal with the avian problem. JFK has peregrine falcons that chase the birds along with pyrotechnics to scare them away. This is just a band-aid on an issue that has the catastrophe to become major. Unless we address to our local congressmen and senators the need for better dealings with avian populations in the region, it is only a matter of time before we see a jet the size of, say, a 747 involved in a bird strike, only this time we will not be so lucky. So please contact your local senators. I believe this is the solution. And I applaud Newsday for bringing this to the attention of people in Long Beach and Island Park. This has been happening for a very long time. And it's not just Kennedy. LaGuardia has seen rises, Newark, even MacArthur. It's all about where you're located. Because you're by a beach area, you see a lot of birds. It's not wrong if you see a large amount of birds in the approach of an airplane to even contact your local police and let them know so they can let the air traffic controllers know. At the end, it is the controller's responsibility to inform the pilots that there are avian flocks within their approach. Otherwise, we will see another 1549. Again, thank you, and thank you, Long Beach.
Great job, Rich. Very informative. And once I saw the front page story in Newsday, I said, I know Rich will come on the show and give us great informative information, and that he did. So that was a fantastic report. All right, we're going to take a break, and after the break, we're going to be joined again by the Katie Mitchell Band, Katie and John, and then after that, Jennifer Leibowitz is going to talk about the drug epidemic in Long Beach as we stay on top of this very important story. All right, we're going to take a break. Coming to you live from Pancho's Cantina in Island Park, I am Halftime Howie. This is Broadcasting on the Beach with Halftime Howie on Long Island's first and oldest station, AM 1240, WGBB.